Hello all, welcome to, there we go. Hello all, and welcome to Hockey on Tap podcast. This is episode 91. I am Bill Dean. Of course, I'm all over the place. I have a baby who's floating balloons. It's a party over here. I am here with my co-host, Steve Echeverria, Mr. Little Steve. Schwim will be here soon. He's yelling at his TV. You can find us on, we're brought to you by Primetime Radio, courtesy of Sam Wu. I'm all over the place. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Apple and Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Please leave us a 5-star review if you would be so kind. Steve, what are you drinking as I turn off the music?
Oh, my goodness.
I still have it play.
That was brutal.
Yeah, this okay? Was bad. No, I got a baby fumbling balloons, and I'm trying to watch hockey, and it's just all over today. And, it's obviously playoffs. I'm all excited about the show. We're starting late, and that's just annoying. But, yep, we are here, and we're enjoying hockey, which is the good thing. So what are you drinking, bud?
So this particular beer was purchased for, I believe, us. I think you have one perhaps as well, by Short's sister. Short's guy's sister. Let's call her Short's sis, I guess.
Short's gal?
Shorts gal is Kelly.
Oh yeah, that's true. Shorts
anyway,
guys.
Continuing. This is a Dogfish Head Brew Pub exclusive called Depth of Field, in partnership with the Rehoboth Beach Film Society. This is called a Transcontinental Strong Ale, which is interesting. And Toronto just scored. It is an ale brewed with malted sorghum, Carolina Gold rice, Tuxpeno corn, and palm nectar. Cheers. Who just scored for Toronto?
I don't know. Apparently the baby put on Netflix instead of hockey game. Who was that? The defenseman? Is that Muzzin? Yeah, Muzzin. Yeah. No deflection. Well, we won't see Schwim for a little while.
Yeah, from over here.
So, courtesy of Schwim, because I was trying to give him a little bit of props here, I'm going with a Nightmare. And this one is called Drawn and Quartered. It's an Imperial IPA, quadruple dry, hopped with Nelson Sauvignon, Enigma, Galaxy, and Citra hops. No lactose. Okay. No lactose. But we're going heavy.
That's a first for you.
Last week's wasn't lactose either.
I don't know about that.
No, it was the vanilla. We did the stouts, and it was the vanilla with maple and something else.
Got a lot of flavor.
That's 2 in a week, 2 in a row, man. I'm very
all right.
It's just there's so many good beers, and unfortunately, the breweries that we like, some of them are just idiots, and they use lactose, and I obviously like the beers, and I want to try those, and it sucks that I have to, partake in lactose in order to enjoy one. But until breweries don't have to, but I choose to because I know that their beers are tasty and delicious. But all right, so busy show. We're waiting on Schwim, who is probably going to join us in about 30 seconds.
Perhaps.
And we'll talk about it a little bit. But let's get out to what's on tap for today's episode. Here's a weekly snapshot. We have NHL playoffs. And the two of us
day one.
We're going head to head. Yes, day one. Eastern Conference, Western Conference. The matchups, we'll go over them in a couple seconds because we're going to go and discuss. My baby just put a Penguins puck on my bust of Rocksteady. So
I wonder if that's a sign of things to come.
Yeah, I'm screwed. So obviously the two of us are battling it out this week, or the next couple weeks probably. So that's interesting, and that's going to be fun. But we'll do the Western Conference, and then we'll do the Eastern Conference. So I just put together a couple previews, and we can kind of talk about them. But so I know you're going to just talk while I'm trying to talk. Western Conference preview, number one, the Avalanche, the number 1 seed versus the Nashville Predators, who eked in at the 16th spot. So Colorado 56-19-7 versus Nashville, who's 45-30-7. This shouldn't be this should be a no contest sweep by the Avs just because of what's happening to UC Saros and his injury.
Yeah.
It's lopsided basically because of that. If they'd had their goaltender, maybe this would be a little bit of a series. You could steal them a game or two, but you know, it's just, Gabriel Landeskog is getting ready to return from surgery, so they're going to be all up with all their players. UC Saros sat out for the last 2 games of the season with a lower body injury. They're saying it's a high ankle sprain, which usually means 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, that's usually done.
Yeah, and I know UC Saros is going to come back and try to play, and maybe if there's no risk that he could do it. But even him playing hurt, it's a tough draw against arguably the best team in the league. When you think about the Colorado Avalanche in that first line with Landeskog, Rantanen, and obviously the captain, the assistant captain, but their leader, Nathan McKinnon, that power play is just ridiculous. They can run out Cale Makar. Their second line is, one of the better lines in the league as well, with a career year from Nazem Kadri. Do you see any reason to have any hope as a Nashville Predators fan to even win 1 game?
Yeah, I think they can. I mean, it should. In theory, Colorado should run them right out of the building. But the last time Nashville was the 16th seed. Do you remember what happened? They went all the way to the Cup final.
Cup final, yeah.
So you never know. I cannot imagine, even with a healthy UC Saros, that this series goes a long way. But there's no reason why Nashville can't steal a game at home. Nashville's a tough place to play in, so they could take a game there. So maybe 5.
Yeah, maybe 5. I mean, even with a backup goal, I'm actually trying to find out who their backup goaltender is, but
David Riddick.
Oh, it is Riddick. All right. Yeah, it's tough though. It really is. It's something that you're looking at as a team, an outsider, and you just see the firepower that one team has versus the others, and it's got to be tough. Yeah, I think it. All right, I'll give them a game just because I also put in our little pool that there would be no sweeps in the first round, but I could definitely see it being a sweep.
I could too. If any series was going to be a sweep, it's going to be this one. But I can totally see Nashville stealing a game in Nashville, so I would say Colorado in 5.
Yeah, I don't know. I still am worried that they're gonna. That's such a big loss. I mean, you're talking about a guy that arguably could be in the Hart Trophy, not race because he's not going to be in one of the top 3, but in the conversation as a Hart Trophy nominee in UC Saros. He had that good of a season, him along with his defensive partner Roman Josi. Obviously, they have some horses there. Johansson's had a pretty good year. Duchesne's having a really good year. And they do have some guys that can really do some things. You're just going to bang in the face. It's tough to just see what they can do. And you hope that they can. All right, Sarah, stop. You hope that they can maybe grab a game, but I just don't see that happening. All right, so number 2 on the list, Minnesota Wild versus St. Louis Blues, and this I think is the best Western Conference series. You look at it, and the Wild and the Blues are two extremely tough interdivisional opponents. They're evenly matched. It's as close to a toss-up as I've seen. I was trying to think, is this going to be the greatest potential for actual having fights in the playoffs? Could you see a couple scraps here?
Yeah, I mean they're two. St. Louis is a bigger, more physical team than Minnesota. I'd say Minnesota has more skill, I think.
Yep.
Not that St. Louis doesn't, but St. Louis has always been, big, heavy team with some skill and a Tarasenko and a Perron, and now Buchnevich having some of that as well. Minnesota has become, and we were even commenting it, I think, as once Kaprizov ended up over there, that Minnesota was always just kind of there. Sometimes they made the playoffs, but they were never exciting, and he's made them into a really very exciting team to watch. I didn't happen to catch. Did St. Louis name their starter for Game 1?
I think it's Ville Husso. I thought I
No,
saw that.
Minnesota.
Oh, Minnesota. Oh, I didn't see. Let me see here for a second. Shrim's actually looking to join. So, Minnesota Wild.
Oh, it says Fleury likely. Husso starting.
Yeah, Fleury is expected to start Game 1 Monday night versus the St. Louis Blues.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the pedigree, right? He's got the, when you think about a playoff goaltender, Marc-Andre Fleury comes about, into mind. I know, obviously, my former goaltender Cam Talbot's had a really good year. He deserves to be a starter in the playoffs. I think he's played well enough. But I mean, you bring in Marc-Andre Fleury, and it's for one reason: it's to play a playoff game because he's clearly.
Yeah. I'm actually surprised
so
they didn't just give Talbot the Game 1 just because he's been there all season. He was their workhorse all season.
Could you put any more jerseys up?
Yeah,
Holy
that's
crud.
a little bit. It's like somebody just vomited all over the back of you.
God. You're absolutely losing this series because you're doing stupid stuff like that.
Says the person who has 8 million pieces of memorabilia in his basement.
All right, so we're quickly. So I want to get to you, Schwim, in a little bit, or in a couple minutes.
Yeah, let's.
We're just going quickly. Well, no. Yeah, so I'll let you stew for a couple seconds because we want to we're talking about Minnesota, the Wild, and the St. Louis Blues. Just how nasty the series is going to be. I think it'll come down to who scores the most dirty goals because even though the finesse is there, these are two just tough teams. I would think that, in my view, the Blues win. I'd say them in 7. I think this is a 7-gamer.
I picked the Blues too. As far as how many games, there's a couple series here that I had a really tough time trying to just guess like how far this is going to go. I absolutely can see 7 for sure, but I probably think 6.
Okay, Schwim, what do you think on this series? And then I'll get your immediate reaction on.
For that series, I agree. I have 7 games, but I have it going in the other direction. I have Minnesota.
Go Wild. All right,
in 7.
And
it can happen.
Yep.
Your Avs Preds pick?
I think it's a damn coin toss.
Avs. I got Avs
what?
all day.
Doesn't even matter.
No, it really doesn't. But I think the Predators will make it interesting. I'll go Avs in 6.
Ooh, 6. All right, we both said 5.
There's no Soros, right? They don't have Soros. You know that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
that's a tough
6. The Avs are the Avs in the playoffs, so who knows?
Yeah, that's also
that
true.
That is true. All right, so let's quickly get to the Calgary Flames and then the Oilers, and I'm obviously all over the place here. The beginning of the show, Schwim, was just
it's continuing.
Of what's going on.
Yeah, no, it's going.
Calgary Flames. Calgary Flames versus Dallas Stars. Stars have been playing playoff style for months, trying to fight to get in, but they have the ups and downs, and they're the most inconsistent team in hockey. It'll probably help them win 1 in this series, 1 to 2 games probably. The Flames are just really good in all major areas of the game. Their special teams are excellent. They're physical. It's hard to envision any scenario where the Stars can really beat the Flames. I'm going to say Flames in 6. I'd actually really rather say 5, but I'll say 6. What are your thoughts on this series?
I don't think it's going to be as lopsided as you're saying it is. I think Dallas can absolutely put up. They're very similar teams with obviously Calgary has the edge, I would say, in goaltending. But they both are one line heavy, basically. I mean, I think Calgary's scoring depth is massively overrated at this going into the playoffs. I still think it's a problem for them, but Dallas is exactly the same, probably a little bit worse, which is why they are where they are. Dallas's top line, I think, can match Calgary's top line with Roope Hintz and Robertson and Pavelski. I think they can and Pavelski in the playoffs, obviously. But yeah, but unproven goalie in the playoffs and Ottinger. Holes, and I just think Dallas just doesn't have enough to keep up. And I'd say 6 games and a close 6 games.
Okay. Shrim?
I agree. I don't think Dallas is as I guess bad as everybody's making them out to be. I think it'll actually be a pretty good series. I still have Calgary winning the series, but I think it'll be a pretty good series. I don't think it's going to be a blowout like a lot of people are saying. I've seen people say Calgary in 4 or 5. I'm like, I don't think so. I think it'll be 6 or
Yeah.
It could even go 7. I'm not going to say it's going to go 7, but I'm going to agree Calgary in 6.
It's one of those if it goes 7, you're like not surprised.
No,
like
I wouldn't
we get to 7 games. We're like, yeah, Dallas they're a tough team. They're scrappy and they have skill. They can score. And then you have the guys like Sagan, Ben, and Radulov who've been completely absent the entire season. Yeah. If they can, for whatever reason, find their game and be playoff performers, that is a massive upgrade for Dallas going into the play, because you already have that top line that's lights out. And if you could figure out a way to get those stars contributing a little bit, even they can make it a series. I still think Calgary is better, but at the same time, we've seen some players on Calgary kind of go absent in the postseason. So I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. I still think Calgary in 6, but I think they
got a big advantage. Not big, but pretty big advantage in net. I think Calgary's got.
Yes.
Yeah, they have a huge advantage.
Markstrom is phenomenal, so I think that's a huge factor in the series for Calgary.
See, what I look at is obviously that top line's nasty with Gaudreau, Lindholm, Tkachuk. Gaudreau is honestly a very he's a legitimate Hart candidate. Elias Lindholm might be the Selke winner this year. He's been that good on both sides of the puck. That second line, Backlund's played really good defensively. Defensively, Toffoli, Mangiapane. That third line kind of reminds me of Tampa's, though, with that, Blake Coleman, he's a part of that, obviously. But Kalle Järnkrok is a very good defensive center. Dylan Dubé has been pretty good. I know that fourth line with Lucic
they're defense heavy. It's a defensive heavy team. That's Daryl Sutter's style. Right, yeah. But the scoring depth still, and we looked at it, I think even weeks ago, maybe whenever it was, when we were talking about the disparity between the top line and the rest of the roster, and it's exactly the same. So they're defensively, I mean, teams are going to have to figure out how to score on them, because it's not easy. But also I don't think Calgary is going to have as easy a time scoring on some of these other teams once they maybe get a little deeper in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, their defense obviously is deep, but it's not star-packed. It's not star-heavy. Noah Hannafin's a good defenseman. Rasmus Anderson, same thing.
It's system.
Yeah.
It's a product. Yeah. It's a system. There's not a lot of big, sexy names there, but, the system works for those guys. And, that's why they're one of the best defensive teams in the league.
A lot of guys.
A lot of guys that'll beat you up, too, with Tanev and everybody else. Boston at Carolina is still 0-0 in the second.
Yep.
All right. Last one, Edmonton, LA, before we get to Schwimm's matchup, and he can yell for a couple minutes before he gets on to his round 2.
Before the second period starts, I can yell some more.
Yep. This matchup's being dubbed the Gretzky Series, which is pretty cool. Obviously, the great one was the star for both franchises, the Oilers and the Kings. Kings have had the edge in goaltending, but is this the first? I mean, I like Jonathan Quick, but is this the first time that you can actually maybe favor Schwimm's boy, Mr.
Mike Smith?
Mike Smith.
I'm not going to favor him, but I'll favor Edmonton.
Mike Smith had a good, run at the end of the season there. So, he's going into the playoffs on a hot note, but I don't trust it.
I don't. So, but I still think Edmonton will win, but I don't think it's going to be because of goaltending. That's for sure.
I mean, listen, LA Kings are without their star defenseman. They're.
But they've been without him, so this isn't just like a surprise. No doubt.
Yeah.
Like, he's been gone for most of the season.
Yeah, and Matthew Roy's been pretty decent. Edler, Mikey Anderson. I do like their goaltender a little more. I joke with the Mike Smith thing, but that the first line with Kopitar, Kempe, and Athanasiou. there's no way that they can match the firepower that Edmonton has. You look at that first line, obviously with Connor McDavid, Puljujarvi, and Evander Kane. That second line with Draisaitl, Hyman, and Kyler Yamamoto. And then when your third line center is Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, you're doing well with the center department. They obviously have had issues filling around that spot, but Darnell Nurse, we'll see how healthy he is for the series. Evan Bouchard's had a really good year. Duncan Keith is old. Yeah, I'm taking Edmonton probably in 6.
Okay.
Edmonton should win the series, but they won't. So I'm picking LA in 6.
Wow. I like it.
Wow.
Okay. In 6? I like it.
Yeah.
You should go real bold and go LA in 4.
I'll pick Vancouver again.
Just have a
you should pick Vancouver.
Mike Smith monumental collapse and go LA in 4.
I'm not going to make the mistake and have some random team go all the way to the Cup final, but this one I will get. This will be my wild card guess.
Okay, I like it.
We need to have a bold prediction, I guess, but we'll do that in a little bit.
There it is.
All right, Schwim.
Got mine already.
That's pretty decently bold. Same thing. I got
Kings
Edmonton now. I got Kings of 4. That'd be very bold.
Bold.
No, I got Edmonton. I got Edmonton in 6 also.
All right, Edmonton 6. All right, so because I want to get to you before you bow out for a second. Obviously, the top 4 series in the Eastern Conference: Panthers, Capitals. You have the Maple Leafs, Lightning, which we'll get to now. Hurricanes, Bruins, and the Rangers and Penguins. Schwim, the Maple Leafs have been unable to make noise in the playoffs for a long time. Mm-hmm. They're loaded up front, decent in their own zone. Jack Campbell obviously needs to be lights out to beat the defending Cup champions. Meanwhile, the Lightning are hot and healthy. Stammer has 10 goals, 16 assists in his last 9 games. It's all coming down to the play of the goaltender in the Maple Leafs net. Does the Leafs have any shot to beat your Stanley Cup champion, Tampa Bay Lightning?
Yeah, anybody has a shot to beat anybody in this year's playoffs, but
except for Nashville, really, against Colorado.
Yeah,
I don't think they have a shot.
They probably have the least amount of odds, I would say. But I don't know, the way Toronto played that first period, they looked really good. Tampa looked like garbage. Tampa had a 5-minute major power play, and Toronto had more shots shorthanded, like at least 4-1 shots, advantage shorthanded. And that it was so bad. It was so bad. Tampa looks like a step behind in that first period.
That was a good save.
Oh yeah, he got thrown out of the game, and I'm deservedly so.
He should be really stupid.
He should be
Wait,
suspended.
Who got thrown out of the game?
Kyle Clifford.
Kyle Clifford.
Oh wow,
it was
I didn't see that.
It was a
really
late
such
defenseless
stupid hit.
It was so stupid.
Yeah.
But I think that warrants a suspension. It's completely unnecessary, and what's
Who
his
was
face?
it on?
Ross Colton was facing away from the puck was already gone. He was facing away from the play, and Clifford just comes up and blasts him from behind against the boards.
Yeah, it's just so blatant. Like it's textbook.
Unnecessary.
Well, of course it's unnecessary, but it's just like I don't know. It's just it confuses me how there's still guys in a game 1 of the playoff start, and you just do like if you had to draw up what a 5-minute major for boarding was, that's it. You can take that little blip of a video and put it right in the rule book.
All right. Just because I know Shum was going to want to head out because the period's already started, I do have a trivia question for you guys. I have two quick questions. So my first trivia question is, how many? And there was, and I'm basing this off of there was a podcast that the Chicklets guys on Barstool did with Wayne Gretzky. They had the great one on, and they were going over some of his stuff. And two questions that were interesting. How many 100-point seasons did Gordie Howe have?
I don't know.
0.
No.
I thought it was a trick question.
5.
Steve? He had one 100-point season, and it was when he was his third to last season in the NHL with Detroit. He had 103 points in 76 games. His next
That's
closest
like
was
statistically, he
86.
doesn't match up very well to some of the other
No.
guys out there.
Yeah. What number did Wayne Gretzky wear in his first ever game for the Edmonton Oilers?
Was it 9?
Nope.
I'm not sure because I know he
I don't
didn't. He
know.
want 9.
No. 9 was actually from back when he was a midget player, and
Yeah.
I guess he originally could
Because
not wear
of
9
that,
because
yeah.
someone else had it, and then he wanted number 16, but another kid had it, so the coach was like, "Why don't you just do 2 9s?" And that's how 99 came apart. But
Okay.
Swim, did you have a number choice?
I like it.
16.
Nope.
61.
No, 26. So apparently the reasoning was Glenn Sather brought him in his office and he's like, this 99 is not going to work for the Oilers because, traditional numbers are, I guess for back in the day was like 1 to 30. And so Gretzky at the time didn't really have any, leg to stand on. So he was like, all right, fine, I'll just take another number. So they gave him 26. So that first game with the Islanders.
Oilers. I like it.
First game with the Oilers, he has 2 goals and an assist, gets a little bit of cojones behind him, goes up to Sather because can I wear 99? And Sather goes, sure. so
Do whatever the
that's
hell you
how it
want.
started. So one game he wore number 26. The rest of the time he wore 99, and that was basically the start of his NHL career. What? Oh, a
Very
little bit of ruckus. Oh, Nick Paul going at it.
Better start to this period than the first period.
So who's it? Nick Paul. It's who's he skating with?
I think it's Paul, Hagel, and Point right now.
Ooh, wow. I like that.
It's just decent, I guess. But, yeah, I'd rather have Point with, like, Kucherov or Stamkos, but...
All right, so Shrim, do you want to make a prediction? Lightning and what?
7. Lightning 7.
Okay. I will also say Lightning and 7. It's going to be a fun series, a lot of offense.
Yeah, it's going to be a good series.
You're looking at 2 of the best teams in terms of scoring. Tampa is has the defense to shut these guys down, but I just don't think they can contain someone that's having the year that Austin Matthews is having. Stammer's having a great year. Cooch is playing well.
Oh my God! Sorry.
Obviously, Braden Point. See, this is why we have you on because it's entertaining. And then I immediately look at my TV and don't know what the hell happened. Toronto, obviously, like we said, right?
You
so
can
Matthews,
be sure of that.
Matthews, Marner, and Kerfoot. That second line with Tavares, Andrei and Ilya Mikheyev. And then you have that third line of Nylander, David Kampf, and Pierre Engvall. Yeah, I like the offense. I just think that Tampa wins out. A couple close games, a couple blowouts, and I got Tampa. Shrimp?
Will there be an 8-goal game in the playoffs?
Ooh. No, I don't think so. 8 goals?
No? In a game, yeah.
So.
You don't think Florida can put up 8, or Toronto, or Tampa, or Colorado even?
In just this first-round series or in general?
In one of these first-round series, yeah.
No.
Yeah, I don't think they do.
Yeah?
I don't think they do. Just quickly, all right, so Shrim, whenever you want to get out, I know you obviously want to talk, but...
do you want me to leave my headset next to me so you can hear me screaming?
Yeah, like buried under a pillow, though, so it's muffled.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll put it under the pillow.
We can get your reactions. We get live reactions minus muffled sound. Panthers versus Caps. This should be a good series if Ovechkin's healthy. He missed the last 2 games of the season with the upper body injury. It's believed to be ready for the start. Panthers won the President's Trophy and are heavy favorite to win this one. I say Panthers in 6. Just a couple quick stats on Ovechkin. He obviously had his 50th goal of the season, number 780, blasting that. It marks the 9th time of his career that Ovechkin scored 50 goals, tying Mike Bossy and Wayne Gretzky. So very good company for number 8. I also had something quickly on Mike Bossy, who obviously had passed away last week. In addition to Ovechkin and Lemieux, only 10 other players have ever had 65 goals in a season. Can you name the other 8 players besides Ovechkin and Lemieux to have 65 or more goals?
Solani and McGillney.
Solani and McGillney, good job.
I'm sorry. Besides who? Lemieux and who?
Besides Lemieux and
Ovechkin
Ovechkin. So there's two big
65 or
ones.
more. Gretzky?
The Gretzky, obviously.
Yeah.
The other one had 80-something goals. One of the better seasons that's ever played.
80-something goals. I'm blanking.
Played for St. Louis Blues and sang "Sweet Caroline" after they won the cup.
Brett Hull.
Brett Hull.
Uh-huh.
We just talked about this guy because he passed away. Mike Bossy.
Mike Bossy. That's crazy. 80? Wait, 80 what? You said 89?
This is so bad.
No, 65 or more goals.
Yeah. How many did Hull have?
Hull had 86.
That's freaking insane.
Goals
That's incredible.
Scored in season. Who had the first 100-point season?
Didn't Stamkos have 65?
Not Stamkos, no.
I thought he had one season at 65.
I thought he had 60. I don't know if he had 65.
Oh.
Okay, so Gretzky was at 92.
Whoa,
Gretzky's at 87. Brett Hull's at 86. Mario Lemieux's at 85. Who was the first ever to score 100 points?
Are you kidding me?
This is why you listen to Hockey on Tap. It's for this kind of awesome podcasting.
I mean,
who was the first ever to score 100 points in a season? Come on, we went over this trivia question before.
We did?
Former Bruin, former Ranger.
Espo?
Espo, 76 goals.
Okay.
Then you said McGillney and Solani, both 76 as well. Gretzky at 73. Yeah. Brett Hull at 72. Wayne Gretzky's old teammate in Edmonton.
Messier?
Nope.
Yari Curry?
Curry. Wow, what
Yari
happened?
Curry.
Carolina was all of a sudden up 2-0.
Oh, wow, yep.
Oh, wow, really? All right.
I think
the best mustache. The best mustache in the game, and his team is one of the top seeds in the West. Lonnie McDonald.
Yeah.
Last one. He's captain.
How did we get into trivia before we stopped with the series?
Because Schwim was here.
Schwim?
What did I do?
Yeah,
he's not even paying attention.
No, I'm not. What'd you say about chicken and rice? Something?
Captain of the Detroit Red Wings.
Yzerman.
And then this guy played for a whole bunch of teams: the Kings, Rangers, Edmonton, Devils, Chicago, San Jose. Bernie Nichols. I'm just going to say it. Whatever.
Yeah, thank you.
I
was going to guess.
All right. Sorry. Back to it. Panthers, Capitals. That's what we're getting into. I say Panthers in 6.
This series is actually, for as one-sided as it should be, was probably the most difficult for me to choose a winner out of, because I just am not buying Florida right now. Because Bobrovsky's,
penalty. Oh my God!
I think Bobrovsky's save percentage since
good.
March 1st, I believe, was like sub 900.
Yeah.
And he's currently of all the 32 starting goaltenders, I believe. I forget the stat, but he's ranked 32 of the 32. So that's alarming. And playoff hockey isn't a sprint. Like they just want to continuously outscore the other team. Which maybe they can. They have the talent and the depth to do it. But if you're going to be if they got a goaltender that's letting in 4 goals a game or whatever, they're going to be in some trouble. And Washington is, for as much as maybe they underachieved this season, I don't think anybody would be that surprised if Washington beat Florida, really, right? Because, it's Washington. Everybody has Washington, perennial cup contenders, right? Even if they're not really at the top of the conversation, they're still kind of there.
Yeah.
So it was really, really hard. But, I'm going to pick Florida in 7.
Okay. Shrimp, quickly.
What? Florida and Washington. I got Florida in 5.
All right,
I think
so
they're gonna steamroll
obviously, yeah.
I hope
mean,
they do.
their
I think
defense
they
is
will.
good.
I don't know.
I think Washington's like old and done. They're gonna get smoked by Florida. I think Florida's gonna be too much for them.
This is one of the only power plays that I know that runs 5 forwards to start, with Reinert, Barkov, Giroux, Huberdeau.
Number one in Florida. I thought you were talking about Toronto. 'Cause Toronto's number one.
Yeah,
in the league.
Toronto's. They got about 5-on-3 for a minute 4.
No, I meant that they run 5 forwards out there for the power play.
Yeah.
But
they're
that
all
first
offense,
line,
and it's
which
good.
Which is crazy
real
because
deep.
the last time they went to a cup final, they were all defense. If you remember that, when they beat the Penguins.
That was easy.
Oh wow, that was Austin Matthews, 2-0.
Every single penalty has been a cross-checking penalty. They're obviously calling cross-checking, so maybe don't do that.
All right, so we'll get to the Hurricanes Bruins, which is on the other channel. Hurricanes are, as you guys set up, 2-0.
They were.
2-0.
Yeah.
So Hurricanes Bruins. I actually have the Bruins winning this series. Obviously, Hurricanes great season, but injury to goaltender Freddie Anderson looms large. If the Bruins have enough up front and the back line to get this done, I do have Bruins in 7. I just think that this is a pretty good matchup. Yeah, I have Bruins in 7. I just think that they, they're deep. Their defense is very, very good. They're rolling at the right time. I think the Hurricanes, that injury is going to hurt, especially if Fred Anderson plays injured. I know I like Antti Raanta, but I think that this is something that kind of undoes them.
No, they still won the Jennings, and that includes Raanta.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's that massive a hit as maybe one would think, because Freddie Anderson, they both had great seasons, and I think they both definitely benefited from the team and the system that they're playing for, right? And also Freddie Anderson, notoriously not great in the playoffs. So, this was kind of maybe a redemption year. But I think Raanta is good, certainly good enough to get them through Boston, because Boston just isn't offense, right? I know you said they're deep, but I strongly disagree with you. I think
in defensive depth.
Defensive depth, they're good, yes. And Allmark has been playing very well as of late, but scoring depth isn't great. And their top line again is still very good, but also another year older. So I don't know. Carolina is just. I don't know.
Sorry, Alex Korn went to Harvard. He might be the dumbest man on the planet.
I know they've recently been splitting up the perfection line. They have Bergeron with Marchand and DeBrusk, and then Pasternak with Taylor Hall and Eric Hollis. So that kind of helps a little bit.
That'll probably change. I think that'll actually change in the series.
I think it will too. I think they're going to need the scoring. They're going to go back to it because that's what they've known. But it's kind of been the same thing though with Carolina. They've split up that. Svechnikov, Aho, Teravainen. They have Jarvis skating with the top 2. They have Domi with Trocheck and Teravainen.
This is gonna work.
I really do like their
Carolina.
third line.
I got Carolina.
I don't want Tampa to have a power play.
It's just like cliche to say 6 games, because I guess it's just like the easiest competitive series. But so that's why I keep picking 6, because I don't picking game numbers is tough. But I got Carolina in 6. It'll be a good series, but Carolina is just too much for Boston.
Shrimp, Bruins, Hurricanes.
I picked Boston in 7.
Okay. Oh, you timed me.
Both going against me. Another series that I am the loner.
All right. Well, you're about to be a loner on, I'm pretty sure, another series. New York Rangers versus Pittsburgh Penguins. New York dominated the regular season against Pittsburgh 3-1. And that scares the hell out of me. And, I think that they could carry it over, but still, this is the Penguins. This is Sidney Crosby. This is Evgeny Malkin. This is, Chris Letang. I know what is the status on Tristan Jarry?
He's, people were hoping that, he'd be back at some point in the series, but I don't
You don't
see
think it's
it.
gonna happen?
I really don't.
Okay.
I don't think he's back at any point during the series, even if it goes 7 games.
So I mean, and I don't trust DeSmith and I don't trust Lou Domingue. If Shesterkin
Don't
continues his
trust
Vezina worthy,
Smith.
if Shesterkin continues his Vezina worthy campaign, I think this is going to be a quick series. I don't want to say this. I think it's Rangers in 5.
So why are you saying I'm going to be another loner in this pick when I told
I
you
think-
that exact series result?
Well, because I
Some of-
think you still want your Pittsburgh Penguins to win. You're probably going to pick Penguins
Of
in
course,
7, right?
I want them to win. Of course, I would. No, I don't. I'm picking the Rangers in 5 because that's the reality of the situation. The reality. I told you this. I told you this weeks
Steven
ago.
can't lose on this one.
When this was official, I told you. I said weeks ago. I meant days ago. When this was official, I knew what the series was going to end like because unless there's only 2 things that could change the series, and both of them are goaltending, and both are one from each side. If Shesterkin turns into Bobrovsky, or if Casey DeSmith turns into Anton Khudobin, that's the only way that this series can get shifted to Pittsburgh. But between Pittsburgh, limping into the playoffs basically, and granted, you can break it down and say that the last 2 months of the series, that it was a juggernaut of a schedule. They played almost entirely playoff teams, but they also they lost more than they were below 500 in those games. So that's not encouraging that you're playing all these playoff teams and you're below 500. That kind of shows how you might do in the playoffs. They're still not healthy. They're not going to have Jari. They're not going to have Zucker. The fact that Zucker skated today in some capacity means that he could have potentially be back at some point during the series, but he's not a difference maker. So the Rangers' transition game is too good, and Pittsburgh's forecheck is too bad. So it's unless somehow Pittsburgh funnels that when they were on that massive run where they were like 17-2-2.
Here we go.
Somehow out of nowhere.
Here it comes. Yep. Thanks. This team fucking sucks. This power play has been god fucking awful. Oh my god. This is embarrassing.
Here's
Steve's
Steve's throwing the dagger on me on the other side, and then I get to watch that. That's pretty good.
So bad.
Steve is setting himself up to be so happy because you're in a no lose situation.
Yeah, because if I'm surprised, great. But
you just kiss a death. You're such a jerk.
If I'm wrong, it's great. But I'm just trying to be honest here. I'm not gonna. I do root for my team. I know.
For your team. No, you want me to 7.
You want me to change it to 6? I'll change it to 6. Yeah. Okay, Rangers to 6.
Oh man, kiss of death. Listen,
this is the worst goaltending duo in the league. Going into these playoffs, this is the worst goaltending duo in the league.
No
duo.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, DeSmith and Domingue.
I thought you said no. I thought you meant Shesterkin versus whoever's on your side. I was like, wait,
no,
what?
Not dual, duo.
Yeah,
tandem.
Gotcha.
I should have said.
No, listen, you guys have the firepower. That does worry me. I do think that you guys that between Malkin and like I said, Crosby's obviously a gamer. He's going to be there every step of the way.
Gensel too.
Gensel and Rust and your acquisition of at the trade deadline, Raquel. I think that you guys have the offense to definitely put a scare on us. So
it's one line. So one line of Pittsburgh, the Crosby, and it depends if Sullivan puts Rickard Raquel back on that top line. But that top line will. I'm not saying they're going to score a lot of points, but they're going to produce offense. They're going to be the ones driving the offense there. And beyond that, there's been a whole lot of nothing. I mean, the calls for Kasperi Kapanen to be a healthy scratch for Drew O'Connor. And, most people don't even know who Drew O'Connor is. That's how bad Kasperi Kapanen has been. Between him and Rodriguez, you have guys that when we look back a couple months ago, this looked like potentially like the deepest team in the league, with third and fourth liners on pace to score like 20 goals, right? And it just stopped. Went right off a cliff, and it hasn't looked like it was going to correct itself. So I don't trust it. I trust the top line. They're going to do their thing, but it's not enough.
You really put me in a lurch here. Listen, I think that
Yeah.
I love my team. Yeah, I know. Yeah, typical. Listen, our top line is very, very good. Frank Vetrano's had a very good year with Kreider and Zibanejad. That second line with Andrew Kopp, he's played very well with, with Panarin and Ryan Strome. It's amazing that two top two overall picks in Kapokako and Alexis Lafreniere are going to play on the third and fourth lines respectively. So that's a good thing. They're thinking about Tyler Mote coming back. Our defense, obviously Adam Fox is phenomenal. Lindgren's played very well. I think the guy that's going to make this series is Keandre Miller. I think if he can play the shutdown role that he's been projected to with Jacob Trouba, that's what's really going to make this team kind of fly. I think those two, if they have great series, they could bring the Rangers the cup. And obviously the goaltender is key. He's the best in the world at this moment, and I think that as long as he's hot, this team has every bit of chance. That's why I say Rangers in 5. And if you guys had Tristan Jarry, I would be a little more worried.
I'd have a little slightly more confidence. It still isn't a good matchup. It's not a good matchup for Pittsburgh at all. In fact, there's fans that were hoping Pittsburgh would slip into the wild card and end up having to face Florida. Fans would rather play Florida than the Rangers. That's how bad of a matchup this is. The style of the Rangers versus the style of Pittsburgh, it just doesn't favor the Penguins at all. And that is the truth of the situation, and that is why I made my pick. And I'm not changing it, no matter what you try to do.
Well, so I will be at the game tomorrow. I did invite my buddy who sits across the screen from me, but he declined because he'd rather not go to a hostile environment. So that's
I would rather I can handle I would rather handle the loss in the privacy of my own home. Thank you very
much. So I'll be there tomorrow with the Dean clan. We'll be cheering loudly.
Excellent.
It's going to be a fun group series. I think there's some really good matchups. I think there's a lot of good things that are going to happen this cup playoffs. It's the year of offense, which is really cool. The most goals scored in forever. Teams like,
but also goaltending though.
Yeah, no, both.
But also as high powered as we have, and some of these teams in here, there are some world class goaltenders in these playoffs, man. And it's crazy that you can have both at the same time, which is so cool because it's not like back when scoring was like this and goalies were all pretty much sieves. This is you have Shesterkin, you have Vasilevsky, you have Marc-Andre Fleury, you have UC Saros, Darcy Kemper was so good at the end of the season there. It's just you go down the list and
oh my god, can't even put an empty net
goal. That was close, Schwimmer.
By the way, you never let me give my prediction for this series because I'm very specific as to how the series is going to play out. If you would care to know,
each game is going to be a blowout.
No, it's going to be Tampa. This one, Tampa and Toronto.
Oh, I thought we got it. Sorry.
Tampa Bay is going to win in 7 after Toronto goes up 3-1.
Oh my god!
I want Toronto to go 3-0 and then they lose 4 straight.
Again,
you don't really want them to go up 3-0.
Of course, I don't want that.
Devastating. That is, that would be absolutely fantastic.
I'm 2 seconds away right now from breaking my computer in half. So, it's only the second period of the first game.
Why do you need to break your computer? Are you watching on your TV?
Yeah, but I'm on the computer.
No, he's just looking at the computer.
Oh, versus us. Yeah, I get you. All right, so we talked about the Gretzky interview on Chicklets. Just a couple little things before we head out. He wore 26 for one game instead of 99 when first in Edmonton. He chose Edmonton over Winnipeg.
There we go. Let's get another shorthand goal. Let's
do it. He chose. So obviously played for the Indianapolis Racers. He chose Winnipeg over Edmonton because they had a bigger arena. and were thought to go to the NHL sooner, and because the owner owned a car dealership, so he thought he would get a car if he went to Edmonton.
Did he?
Yeah, I don't know if he did or didn't. He was talking about it. Apparently, Bobby
another
Hull
empty
was.
net miss. Oh my fucking god!
Apparently,
Stamkos
Bobby
scores
Hull
9,000 goals in his life, and he can't put an empty net goal in. I'm out of here.
Oh, there we go. Apparently, Bobby Hull was in Winnipeg and said he didn't want, and he wanted Gretzky in Winnipeg with him. And apparently, the deal fell through because Winnipeg didn't want to deal their tough guy and a backup goalie tender for Gretzky, who was apparently at that time a throw-in piece in the trade.
Imagine that.
Yeah, the last one I found was funny. His Jofa helmet and why he has the Jofa helmet. Apparently, guys told him in Edmonton to take it off because you didn't wear helmets back then. You want to be a tough guy, so he didn't want to wear a helmet. Apparently, his dad was in the stands, saw him come out for warm-ups without a helmet, he went down and told him to go put one back on. So he went in the locker room, talked to one of the guys, and the guy said, "Here, put this Jofa helmet on. It's basically like not wearing one." So that's why he used to wear the Jofa helmet. It's because his dad said he had to wear a helmet during an NHL game.
That ugly,
So
ugly bucket of his.
It was that. I mean, that is one of the worst helmets of all time.
Yeah.
But kids wore it because they were Wayne Gretzky. You have anything else you want to talk about playoffs before we head out?
No. I mean, I don't even want to make like a Conn Smythe prediction, or we'll go round by round because I don't want to.
Oh, bold
look
prediction.
like an idiot again.
My bold prediction.
Okay.
My bold prediction will
I had
be.
one. I don't remember what it was.
What is my bold prediction? I will say my bold prediction is the Toronto Maple Leafs win the Stanley Cup.
The Cup.
Cup. Bold prediction.
Okay. So bold prediction. Even though it goes against the fact that you chose Tampa to win the series, my bold prediction then will be that Casey DeSmith puts on an Anton Hudobin type run,
This is
doesn't
exactly what
and doesn't allow Tristan Jarry to get back in the net.
I hate you.
My prediction is more bold. Actually, my prediction might be more believable than yours in Toronto winning the Cup, as good as they are.
You suck. All right, we'll obviously go through the playoffs as they keep going. We have some stuff coming up like the top 25 goal scorers not getting enough shine. Who needs the draft lottery to win the most? Craziest injuries in hockey. Breakout seasons versus disappointments, and then we got some good stuff for the World Cup of Hockey.
It's interesting. You know what? We got to break. We got to one of the things. Well, I'll try to remember to do it too. If somebody wins the draft lottery this year, will it make them ineligible for next season to get the number one overall? Because remember now we had the two and five, right?
I think it was 2 or 3 and 5. 2 and 5. No, 3 and 5. I think it was 3 and 5.
You can only have 2 in 5 years, correct?
I thought it was 3, but maybe 2. Yeah.
We'll have to look into it because if somebody
they haven't won,
if somebody like the Devils, for instance, wins this year, I mean Shane Wright's going to be good, but he's not Bedard. And if they're ineligible and they're still in the lottery next season, that could be not so good for Devil fans.
Yeah. That would be pretty rough.
Because Bedard is the real deal. At least he seems
I would
like
rather. I would rather not win this year. If you said your chances were higher for next year, I think that he is. Between him and Mashenko, I always mess up the kid's name, but there's 2 or 3 top prospects next year, and I know that Wright will be very good. But Connor Bedard is world class. He's the next,
yes,
Connor McDavid. So
he's the next big deal. I don't know if he'll be with Connor McDavid, but he's up there.
Yeah, generational is stupid because that means you haven't seen them in a generation. But he's definitely world class, like top 5 player in the league. All right. Well, Shrim, I'm sure, is going to enjoy the rest of this game. I will enjoy it from my couch while I laugh at him in his face. Carolina's still up 2-0 in the third. 19:22 left. They just started. It looks like they put the perfection line back together. Nope, they didn't. That's still. Oh, they still have Pasternak with the other two. All right. Well, I already did the trivia, so that will be good. How was
My
your beer?
I gave it a 3.75. Definitely very interesting. A transcontinental strong ale. I actually thought it was going to be more alcoholic. I'm glad it wasn't, but pretty tasty. I give it a 3.75.
This one, 10%. Nightmare, drawn and quartered. I'll give it a 4.
Okay.
Good beer, Nightmare. Schwim. Oh, it was very good.
Good
All right,
Phantom Brewery.
Cool. Yeah, good Phantom Brewery. Schwim, take her home.